Let's start with A. The question asks us how to analyze and comment the trend of inflation from 2014 until 2016. So this is the statistic and the whole information that I get. From 2014, with an average annual inflation rate about 3.2%, Malaysia inflation rate stayed relatively. This was mainly because by the oil prices and the price is steady, made low shipping costs can go through possible. And at that time also, the government also took action to regulate the cost of basic commodities and services. Now, let's move to 2015. Inflation rate increased slightly over the previous year with an average rate of around 2.1%. This is because of the implementation of Goods and Services Tax (GST) in the April 2015, and it has a significant impact on this whole session on that year. As businesses adjust to the new frame of the new tax, the adoption of GST temporarily increased the prices. The GST, on the other hand, had a relatively minor and a short-term influence the rate of inflation in Malaysia. And lastly, for the year 2016, the inflation continued to climb with an annual average of inflation rate about 2.1%. The decline of the Malaysian ringgit versus the foreign currency, particularly the US dollar, was a factor in this year. This depreciation increased import costs, resulting in higher prices for imported commodity and contributing to the overall inflationary pressures. That's all from 2014 until 2016. Let's move to the next part, to the next slide of my session. So as we can see here, this is I got from the Department of Statistics Malaysia. Show from 2014 until 2016 statistic of inflation rate that happened in our country. And we can see here for the each month of the year from 2014 until the question asks us to 2016. We can see the high and the low level of inflation that happened on that year. Now, this is the last slide for my part. As we can see here too, from 2014 until 2016, the main item that have a high rate of inflation is all about hotel and restaurant. Obviously, Malaysian civilian like to go to anywhere that have a restaurant or hotel in Malaysia. Thank you.
Hi. Before I start my question, thank you to Danish Haikal for explaining the trend inflation from 2014 to 2016. Now, let's move to my session. My question that I get is, what is the major cause of inflation during this period? My first point of my answer is cost-pushed inflation. The Malaysian ringgit depreciation against major currencies such as the US dollar increased the cost of imported goods. This depreciation increased the cost of imported goods such as raw materials and intermediate goods, which increased the cost of finished goods in the domestic market. My next point is GST implementation. The GST implementation is the implementation of goods and service tax, also known as GST, in April 2015 had a significant impact on inflation during this period. Initially, the GST imposed a 6% tax on purchasing goods and services. Although the effect was brief, implementing the GST resulted in some one-time price adjustment as businesses adjusted to the new tax system. Lastly, global commodity prices. Malaysia is a net exporter of commodities such as palm oil, rubber, oil and gas. Global commodity price fluctuation can affect Malaysia's inflation rate. During this time, relatively stable global oil prices helped to keep inflationary pressure at bay. However, any significant increases in oil prices could have contributed to higher inflation rate.
Now I will continue with the question C, which is what are the role of consumer and producer in reducing the effect of inflation? I will explain about the consumer part, which is the first one. Consumer should save money on transportation. If gas prices are blowing out of the budget, consumers should limit driving as much as possible. They should use public transport such as bus or train. If consumer workplace allow them to work from home, it would be a good advantage for them as it will minimize the cost. Next, consumers should try to add more money to their emergency fund. As expenses go up, so will the amount of financial cushion you need to cover unexpected costs or your expenses between jobs. So reevaluate the right amounts and squirrel away any extra money until you meet your new saving goals. After that, if consumers have a plan ahead for a vacation, they should look forward for a cheaper vacation, which is stay close to homes and visit local attractions, take day trips, eat at a local restaurant and relax at home. Can save you a lot of money now. If consumers have the intention to travel overseas, plan for a trip you can afford. Book your flight ticket earlier so that you may find the cheapest cost. And lastly, consumers should compare the price and negotiation should involve. In a competitive market, price may vary for similar product or service. Consumers should compare prices and shop around for better deals, promoting competitions and potentially limiting price increase. Additionally, negotiation price with seller can lead to cost saving.
Hello, so I want to explain my point, which is the roles of producer in reducing the effect of inflation. I have 3 points. So the first point is cost management. Producer can focus on managing costs through efficient supply chain management, optimizing resource allocation, and negotiating favorable terms with suppliers. These include optimizing supply chains, negotiating better price with supplier, and adapting efficient production techniques. And the second point, which is efficiency improvement. In enhancing efficiency in productivity is essential for reducing costs and maintaining competitiveness. Producer can invest in new technologies, automation, and process improvement to increase output while minimizing resource consumption. And the last point is cost management. Producer can invest in research and development, which is R&D, to innovate and develop new products or improve the existing ones. This can lead to cost savings through more efficient production process, the use of alternative material, or the development of products that are less susceptible to price fluctuations. Techniques, it's also important to always keep in touch.